On a windy afternoon at Toronto Pearson International Airport, Delta Flight 4819, operated by Endeavour Air, experienced a harrowing crash landing that left the aircraft overturned and passengers hanging upside down in their seats. Amid the chaos, 2 flight attendants sprang into action, demonstrating the critical role of their training in ensuring the safe evacuation of all 80 people on board. Their swift and composed response has drawn widespread praise, underscoring the importance of flight attendants as aviation's first responders. The crash, a terrifying ordeal, the flight, which had departed from Minneapolis bound for Toronto, encountered strong winds as it approached its destination. Air traffic controllers had warned the pilots of 38 mph gusts, but the conditions proved challenging. Video footage captured the moment the CRJ-900 aircraft landed hard on the runway, its right wing striking the ground before breaking away in a burst of flames. The plane then skidded and rolled over, coming to rest upside down on the tarmac. Passengers, strapped into their seats, found themselves suspended upside down as firefighters rushed to extinguish the flames. Despite the terrifying circumstances, all 76 passengers and 4 crew members survived the crash, with 21 individuals transported to hospitals for injuries. By Wednesday, all but one had been released, according to Delta flight attendants, the unsung heroes. In the aftermath of the crash, the actions of the 2 flight attendants on board became a focal point of admiration. Though their identities have not been publicly disclosed, their training and professionalism shone through in the critical moments following the crash. A video recorded by passenger Pete Kukoff captured one of the flight attendants standing on what had become the ceiling of the overturned cabin, her leg propped on an upturned baggage compartment. With a composed yet forceful voice, she directed passengers to drop their belongings and evacuate immediately. "Put that phone away," she shouted, emphasizing the urgency of the situation. The flight attendant's commands were clear and authoritative, reflecting the extensive training that prepares flight crews for such emergencies. Her actions were not just instinctive, but a direct result of the rigorous drills and scenarios she had practiced repeatedly. The role of training in crisis situations. Flight attendants are often perceived primarily as providers of in-flight comfort, serving meals, beverages, and ensuring passengers' needs are met. However, their primary responsibility is passenger safety, a role that requires meticulous preparation and recurrent training. Sarah Nelson, International President of the Association of Flight Attendants, CWA, emphasized the importance of this and training in the wake of the Toronto crash. They performed their work perfectly as aviation's first responders. She said, "This is the reason that we are on the plane, to evacuate passengers from a crash landing like this safely." And they did that. Flight attendant training programs vary slightly by airline, but generally include extensive instruction on emergency procedures. Delta Airlines, for example, requires 7 weeks of training in Atlanta for new hires, covering everything from evacuations and firefighting to rapid decompression and hijackings. Federal regulations also mandate recurrent training every 24 months to ensure crew members remain prepared for any scenario. The science of evacuation, one of the most critical aspects of flight attendant training, is evacuation procedures. In the ASWA event of a crash, flight attendants are trained to assess the situation quickly, locate emergency exits, and guide passengers to safety. This includes instructing passengers to leave behind their luggage, which can impede evacuation efforts and increase the risk of injury or death. Nelson explained that flight attendants are trained to evacuate an aircraft in as few as 90 seconds. a timeframe designed to minimize the risk of fire engulfing the cabin. In the case of Delta Flight 4819, the flight attendant's commands to drop belongings and move quickly were a direct application of this training. The video footage also shows 2 passengers standing outside the emergency exit, helping others onto the tarmac. This too is part of the training. Flight attendants are instructed to enlist the help of able-bodied passengers to assist in the evacuation process. A testament to preparation, the flight attendant's ability to remain calm and take charge in such a high-stress situation is a testament to the effectiveness of their training. As Nelson noted, the repetition of emergency drills ensures that these responses become second nature, allowing flight attendants to act almost automatically in every single debrief that I have ever heard from any kind of critical incident. The flight attendants say, "It was incredible. That training kicked in, and I just moved to action." Nelson said. This sentiment was echoed by Michael McCormick, an associate professor at Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University, who praised the flight attendants for their phenomenal performance. They are responsible for much more than picking up trash and serving sodas, he said. They're trained professionals, responsible for the safety of the passengers. The broader context of airline safety. While the crash of Delta Flight 4819 was a dramatic and frightening event, it also highlights the overall safety of air travel. Deborah Flint, CEO of the Greater Toronto Airports Authority, reiterated this point at a news conference following the incident. Air travel remains the safest form of transportation, she said, echoing a sentiment frequently cited by aviation experts. Accidents involving regularly scheduled commercial airlines are rare, and even when they occur, they are often not catastrophic. According to a 2020 analysis by the National Transportation Safety Board, there were 133 accidents involving U.S. carriers between 1983 and 2017, with only 35 classified as serious. These statistics underscore the effectiveness of the safety protocols and training programs in place across the industry. A grateful industry and public. In the days following the crash, the flight attendants' actions were met with widespread gratitude and admiration. Flint expressed her appreciation for the crew members on Delta Flight 4819, as well as flight attendants across the industry. Every time you board a flight, you are greeted by flight attendants and by flight crew, she said. Often, it's their job to make us comfortable and confident about the flight ahead, and they do an incredible job with that. But we saw the most important role that they play in action yesterday. The incident serves as a powerful reminder of the vital role flight attendants play in ensuring passenger safety. While their day-to-day responsibilities may often go unnoticed, their ability to respond effectively in an emergency can mean the difference between life and death. Conclusion: training saves lives. The crash of Delta Flight 4819 was a stark reminder of the unpredictability of air travel and the importance of being prepared for the worst. Thanks to the quick thinking and rigorous training of the flight attendants on board, all passengers and crew members survived the ordeal. As the aviation industry continues to prioritize safety, the role of flight attendants as first responders remains indispensable. Their ability to remain calm under pressure, make split-second decisions, and guide passengers to safety is a testament to the value of their training and professionalism. In the words of Sarah Nelson, that training kicked in, and I just moved to action. It is this training that ensures flight attendants are always ready to protect and serve, no matter the circumstances. For the passengers of Delta Flight 4819, that training made all the difference.